Friends, in 2011, they're all my favorites, but among my favorite bat mitzvah students, in addition to you, Chloe, was the sister of the bride-to-be, Jody, whom we bless tonight, Bat Miriam, Brittany Strumminger. And when she was studying for her bat mitzvah with me, and her portion included what everybody sings and knows, the Shema and the Ve'ahavta. Guess what else follows in that portion? And you gave me this idea because we talked about it 14 years ago. For the first time in the entire Torah, guess what Moses is called? Moshe Rabbeinu. Moses, our teacher. And as we celebrate all our students in May, graduating high school, college, preschool, in my mind, it's teachers who are the unsung heroes, not only this time of year, but every day of the year. Whether in our flagship early learning center led by Blair Trotz, who I see is with us tonight, in our religious school, or any member of the Temple family teaching in any school, public or private, weekdays or weekends, teachers face a daunting challenge. Namely, children are usually only as serious about their learning as their parents are. Or to put it differently, children will hardly care more about learning if their parents could not care less. Did you know the synagogue's given 3 names? 2 are obvious: house of prayer, house of gathering, Beit Tefillah, Beit Knesset. But perhaps the most distinctive feature of a Jewish house of worship is the 3rd name a synagogue carries: Beit Midrash, house of learning. The new Pope's election at the Cardinals' conclave this week reminded me of synagogue architecture. Let me explain. When John Paul II was shown the architectural and design plans for one of the church house complexes at the Vatican, after reviewing the plan, the Pope wrote 3 words: Non sumus angeli. We are not angels. We are not angels. A cardinal was bewildered by this comment and asked the Holy Father to clarify. The Pope said, "You forgot to put in the bathrooms." When it comes to religious architecture, consider that Judaism may be the only religion, we do have bathrooms, but it's the only religion where a library is put in the center of its religious structure, because in Judaism, teaching and learning is elevated to the status of worship. Teachers are not magicians. They just put themselves on the front lines of the battle for our children's minds and hearts every day. And Judaism suggests that educators who open the hearts of children and adults and sharpen minds contribute as much, if not more, than parents. Why? The Talmud says that while parents bring us into this world, it's teachers who impart timeless wisdom and deepen our souls throughout our lifetimes and eternally, even the Talmud says, into the world to come. The Talmud even has a list which may surprise you. In one of the more controversial cases, the context for which, sadly, we all understand since October 7th, 2023, when Hamas kidnapped innocent Israelis. Unfortunately, it was common practice for Jews to be kidnapped for ransom during the Middle Ages. And listen to what the Talmud says. That's the backdrop. If a student's parent and teacher are kidnapped, you are to ransom the teacher first and the parent second. Why? Because while a parent raises one student, A teacher raises an entire class. In Hebrew, the word for our most precious possession, Chloe will read from tomorrow morning, Torah. Did you know the word for teacher and parent, mora and hora and Torah, are derived from the same root? Not only to make us aware of how important teachers are, but to remind us that the parent who is just a pal and not a teacher is not truly a parent. Even the Hebrew word for education, chinuch, is the origin for the name of the holiday we all know and love, Hanukkah. Yes, Hanukkah comes from the root word for education and dedication, because education is dedication. Now, while this Jewish praise of teachers and emphasis on education is inspiring, I hope I don't lose you on this. I read a book on modern neuroscience related to tonight's celebration of educators. And it's even more enlightening. We know from science that our rational cognitive brain is the youngest part of our brain. It occupies only about 30% of the area inside the skull. The brain is built from the bottom up. The primitive animal reptilian brain is responsible for all the things babies we're hearing can do. Eat, sleep, wait, cry, breathe, feel temperature, hunger, wetness, pain, rid the body of toxins. The brainstem and hypothalamus coordinate the functioning of the heart and lung, also the endocrine and immune systems, maintaining that word we all learned in school, homeostasis, the internal balance of the body's functioning. Right above the reptilian brain is the limbic system, the mammalian brain. And all animals that live in groups and nurture their young possess one. In humans, here's my point, this part of the brain, we now know, takes off after a baby is born like we never knew before. It's the seat of our emotions. It's the monitor of danger. It's the judge of what is scary or pleasurable. The limbic system is shaped in response to experience, and taken together, the reptilian and mammalian brain make up the emotional brain. And the top layer, the neocortex we share with other mammals, is much thicker in humans. Now, I share this because in addition to all the Talmud I shared with you, we now know from science, neuroscience, that as early as the second year of life, the frontal lobes, which make up the bulk of our neocortex, develop at a rapid pace. And these frontal lobe capacities are responsible for the qualities that make us unique within the animal kingdom. Qualities like empathy and mirror neurons, our ability to feel into someone else. Children who don't feel safe, even in infancy, have trouble regulating their moods and emotional responses as they grow older. By kindergarten, many disorganized infants are either aggressive, disengaged, or spaced out. They go on to develop a range of psychiatric problems, lack of being loved by a teacher or a parent within the first years of life leads to an impaired sense of inner reality. This doesn't mean that our inner maps can't be modified by experience, but adults who were neglected or worse as children can still learn the beauty of intimacy and trust, or have a spiritual experience that opens them to a larger universe. But my point is, the maps of the world are encoded in our emotional brains, and teachers, from the earliest months and years of a child's life, are more important than ever realized before. Not because a rabbi or religion says so, but because the science confirms it. Yesterday, when we honored teacher Sarah Eckstein in our Barbara K. Littman Early Learning Center for over 24 years of teaching, I thanked her in a role far more important than my responsibility as your rabbi. You see, I have 3 children, ages 32, 20, and 26. Sarah was the shaper of the neocortex for them and for hundreds of children like mine. Because she loved those children, as all you teachers do, she loved those children into loving themselves Jewishly and humanly. Tonight, we honor not only teachers of the young, but educators who extend the life of all ages, including our elders through lifelong learning. So while it's impossible to express our appreciation adequately, I want to end this sermon by asking every teacher in the sanctuary, any educator, any teacher present in the congregation to please rise and read the special prayer composed just for you tonight. Please stand. And we're going to follow this with the rest of the congregation blessing you. So everybody find your sheet. I see college professors, early learning center, elementary, graduate school, Torah teachers. Together, if all you educators would please read, in the presence of God, the creator and sustainer of life, with reverence to our Torah, holy with wisdom and insight, and the many different children and adults we teach, vibrant and growing. May we lovingly and faithfully see our roles as educators the way that Judaism embraces teaching as the highest spiritual calling. May our often undervalued work as teachers in society today someday receive the endless appreciation Judaism accords to our profession. As the academic year ends again, may we gain strength, renewal, and the restoration of Shabbat, ready to educate your children, God, whether here at Temple or in all the schools beyond these walls where we teach, with love, insight, and resilience. And let us say, Amen. If you will please remain standing as the rest of us bless you, if everyone would please read with me. Bless our teachers, their selflessness, sacrifice, and commitment. To be a teacher, you must have humility, courage, and faith. To be a teacher, you must be kind, ethical, and act out of conviction. Tonight, we as a Temple Israel community honor every teacher in our midst. May our synagogue not only be a beacon of learning, but a lighthouse of appreciation for all our educators, from early learning through higher education, from Jewish texts in Hebrew to all subjects, sciences, and fields that broaden minds, extend life, and deepen our understanding of your world. We now recite the traditional Jewish blessing one is urged to say upon learning anything from a teacher. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shenatan mechochmatam levasar vadam. We praise you, God, sovereign of the universe. You give of your wisdom through teachers to all of us. And let us say,